I've been playing around a little bit with the 3D printer, and I printed out some of these angle guides. Okay, here are the angle guides laid out in order from 10 degrees up to 20 degrees in 1 degree increments. Now these would be degrees per side, and what these have is a notch, and that notch is to accept a rubber band. So you can take and you can attach them to one of your stones and use that as an angle guide to establish your bevel. Now, one of the problems that you have with sharpeners like this, I've been playing with this a little bit, these are fixed angle guides. And that's okay if that's the angle that you sharpen at. But even still, it has a few more problems. One, ceramic rods. So any of your new steels, S30 through S45, are about the limit of what you would want to use ceramic rods for that. Anything rated higher than that in edge retention usually forms carbides are actually harder than the ceramic rods. So while it may seem like you get it sharp, you're actually doing damage to the microstructure of the blade, and you're not going to get edge holding like you would if you used a diamond stone followed by a strop with diamond compound. So I've been thinking about making a new one of these sharpeners, and I'm going to make it using these DMT stones, which are slightly longer than the Worksharp ones and slightly narrower. These are commonly available for a good price, so I'm thinking about making a holder for these that'll take changeable edge guides, changeable angle guides. So it'll be diamond on one side, and on the other side you'll have a leather strap that you can put a compound on. So this will be suitable for your newer knife steels. There's another problem with these knives. Let's take a look at just this real cheap knife, for example. You have a bevel and then you have a flat. This angle, which this is a 20-degree guide, only comes into play if you can register off of that flat. If you have a full flat grind, you're registering off of the main grind. And there's a big difference between that and this. See that difference? So your angle changes. Whatever this is, maybe this grind is 4 degrees per side on this main bevel. That's going to add 4 degrees onto your edge angle and make it steeper. And you really don't want that. You don't want to take a 20-degree angle and end up with a 24, 25 degree per side bevel on your knife. So you need some way to regulate that and some way to get consistency. Let's check this one out. I've already looked at, let's see, I think it's 20 degrees. I'm just going to hold this on here for now. And I'm going to get this flat on there and then push this down to the blade. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but that's pretty close. That's about what that edge is. Now, if I go off of the grind, I'm way off. I'm going to have a much steeper, much steeper bevel. You see how much that rocks, how much that changes? So I have to drop down to somewhere around 17 on this particular knife. And at 17, I can put it on the main grind. That flat is a very narrow surface, and that'll be harder to register off of. The main grind is much wider, so that's easier to register off of. So I can register off the main grind and then come down, and I'm pretty close with that edge. So let me fasten one of these on to this diamond stone. All right, there we go. Should probably do one more. It's not quite tight enough. All right. Sorry if I got a little off camera there. It's hard to do that staying underneath. Okay, so that's fastened there. Now I can come and go off of the main grind and come down, and that gives me my angle. And once I have the angle, I can pretty much stay on it. So this can be a good aid in sharpening your knife if you're not sure what your edge angle is, and especially if you have a full flat or you have a knife that has a very small flat part up here and it's hard to register off of. This way you can pick the edge angle, you can pick the guide that suits your needs, and will take care of your knife. So I plan to make a frame, like this has a frame that'll hold one of these DMTs, and where you can put, be different than these, but where you can put an edge angle guide on each side. And it'll only come right to the very beginning of the stone, leaving the full length of the stone available for sharpening. So that's my idea. Let me know what you think about it and about these little guides. We'll see you on the next one.